Have you ever had that terrifying feeling of sleeping next to a complete stranger, even though it's the person you married? It's a silence that screams, a loneliness that aches in the soul, often worse than being single. Perhaps the word separation is already flashing in your mind like a neon sign, looking like the only escape route from this unbearable void. But stop everything you are doing right now. What if I told you that what you are living through isn't necessarily the end of love, but just a serious strategic error that most couples make without realizing it? Forget the expensive trips to try and reignite the flame, or those gigantic promises of radical change that never last until next Monday. What you are going to discover here is totally counterintuitive. Saving your marriage and rescuing that light, complicit companionship doesn't require brute force. It requires wisdom. There is a powerful secret, validated by time, which we call baby steps. It is the forgotten art of using kindness and mutual support in microscopic doses to generate huge and rapid results. Many people think the game is over when indifference walks through the door, but I'm going to prove to you that it is possible to turn this game around without needing to have that exhausting and painful talk today. Stay with me until the end, because before you think about signing any papers, you need to test this simple technique that can unlock your spouse's heart this very day. Imagine you bought a 1,000-piece puzzle, but soon realized the central piece that unites the whole landscape is missing. That is exactly how we feel when marriage loses its original meaning, which is to meet our visceral need for companionship. From the beginning, the idea was never to walk alone. We were designed in our most intimate structure to be completed by another, as a reflection of something divine that constantly whispers that isolation is not our natural habitat. But look, reality often plays tricks, and you might be feeling like a castaway in your own living room. The original project is perfect, but human execution fails when we forget that we were made to be a help, not a hurdle. Loneliness shouldn't have space where a covenant exists, but it settles in sneakily when we stop looking at our partner as a gift and start seeing them as a burden, ignoring the vital essence that it is not good for man to be alone. Think of the engineering of a bridge. It needs two firm pillars to sustain the weight of the crossing and withstand the winds. In your relationship, this structure is reinforced by daily acts of kindness that remind the other they are not invisible inside the house. It doesn't need to be anything grand. It can be as simple as leaving the best piece of dessert for your spouse or making breakfast on a Sunday. Simple attitudes that scream, "I see you," and reaffirm the purpose of the union. When we understand this dynamic, we realize we are there to be the strength where the other is weak, creating a virtuous and unbreakable cycle of mutual support. It's like two climbers tied by the same rope on a steep mountain. If one slips, the other tightens the line to prevent the fall, instead of cutting the bond. This healthy interdependence is the secret that transforms two strangers living together into inseparable partners, ready for any challenge. However, knowing the theory of this perfect design doesn't automatically shield us from the cold of emotional isolation within four walls. It's curious and sad to note how many couples, even sharing the same bed and the same bank account, feel a void growing in their chest, a distance not measured in meters but in awkward silences. And it is precisely this painful disconnection, which happens even when side by side, that we need to look at carefully now. There is nothing more disconcerting than feeling an immense hollowness in your chest precisely when the person you chose is sitting on the sofa right next to you. This specific form of loneliness is treacherous because it disguises itself as normality while corroding the joy of living, transforming the home, which should be a refuge, into a minefield of indifference. Many couples today live what we call invisible divorce, where the marriage exists on paper and in social appearances, but the emotional connection packed its bags and left a long time ago. It is painful to admit, but the lack of genuine companionship hurts physically, creating constant tension, where walking on eggshells becomes the house rule. You may share the same roof, but you live on separate islands surrounded by an ocean of unspoken words and accumulated resentments. That mutual support that was once the foundation of everything seems like a distant memory, replaced by a silent competition of who cares less or who can hold out longer without giving in, a game where in the end both lose. Observe the dynamic of a common dinner, cutlery hitting the plate, the TV on too loud, or worse, the glow of phone screens illuminating faces that don't look at each other. If you exchange more messages with strangers on the internet than looks of kindness between yourselves, the alert light is flashing bright red. Try leaving the devices in another room for one night. The silence that remains will reveal the exact size of the abyss that needs to be bridged between you. This disconnection doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process of erosion caused by the absence of daily maintenance of affection. Without the constant nutrition of attention and care, the plant of the relationship dries up, and you start living like polite roommates but distant. The absence of that complicit companionship makes every individual problem seem 10 times heavier, because the feeling of "we are in this together" has been replaced by the terrible "every man for himself." However, facing this desolate scenario head-on can be paralyzing if we try to resolve years of hurt in a single weekend. Looking at the entire mountain of problems generates discouragement and the false certainty that there is no way out. But what if I told you that the secret to getting out of this hole isn't attempting a giant heroic leap, but changing the strategy to something much smaller, almost imperceptible, but incredibly powerful? Facing the marriage as a whole when it is in crisis is like trying to climb Everest in flip-flops. You will give up before you even leave the spot. The key to overcoming this abysmal loneliness isn't attempting a drastic revolution overnight, but adopting the humble and powerful strategy of baby steps. Instead of focusing on global chaos and declaring emotional bankruptcy, concentrate on today's micro-victory, changing the question from "why is everything so bad" to "what is the smallest thing I can do right now to improve the mood?" This mindset shift is vital because it takes the weight of the world off the couple's shoulders. When you stop demanding cinematic and immediate mutual support, the pressure drops instantly, allowing the air to circulate again. Think of this as emotional physiotherapy. No one goes back to running a marathon the day after complex surgery. One starts with moving a finger, then a foot. If the environment at home is toxic, don't try to have the big discussion now. Just try, for example, not to retaliate against a criticism or simply lower your tone of voice. The magic happens because kindness in homeopathic doses is contagious and has the power to disarm the most rigid defenses. To deeply understand the science behind this, I strongly suggest reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. Although not sold as a guide for couples, it teaches that 1% improvements a day generate exponential results in the long run. Apply this to the relationship. A good morning said looking in the eyes today is worth much more than a grandiose promise of eternal change that never leaves the paper. By adopting these small movements, you begin to rebuild lost companionship without even realizing the effort. It is the snowball principle. A small positive attitude rolls downhill and gains mass, speed, and strength. Do not underestimate the power of small actions, like making the bed together in the morning, or sending a funny meme in the middle of the afternoon for no apparent reason. These banalities, which many ignore, are actually the fresh cement that starts to fill the deep cracks in the relationship. Now that you understand you don't need to solve the world's problems in 24 hours, the practical question imposes itself. Pride often ties the tongue and makes hands heavy, preventing the first move of approach. Silence reigns in the house, creating a cold wall, and someone needs to have the audacious courage to break it. But how to do this in a practical, touching way without appearing too vulnerable? There is a right way to act to melt this ice. Breaking the ice requires courage, but someone has to take the first step to save the marriage from paralyzing inertia. Break the deafening silence not with demands about the past, but with an unexpected act of kindness in the present.
Imagine the other's surprise upon receiving a flower picked from the garden or bought at the corner with a simple note, "I thought of you today." This small gesture acts as a powerful antidote against loneliness, showing that despite recent fights, effective memory and care still breathe there, waiting to be awakened. Exercise kindness through active observation, looking for gold amidst the arid soil of routine. Stop for a minute and reflect on something your spouse does incredibly well. It could be patience with the children or the skill to solve domestic problems. Say this out loud and looking in the eyes. Sincere praise is fresh water for a dry soul. Validating the other's qualities deactivates defense mechanisms and opens a door to dialogue that had been locked for months, creating a new access route to the heart. Do not underestimate the electricity of physical touch to restore the lost sense of companionship. Surprise with a passionate kiss, one of those cinematic ones, in no hurry to end, breaking the mechanical routine of the automatic farewell peck. Openly say, "I wanted you to remember how we were at the beginning. I am willing to start over if you are." This vulnerability isn't weakness, it is an irresistible invitation to go back to being sweethearts, reigniting a flame that, although weak, never totally went out. To materialize this reconnection, mark quality time in the schedule, treating it as the most important meeting of the week. It could be a walk in the park without cell phones, or cooking a simple dinner together, dividing tasks in mutual support and laughter. If you run out of topics, use conversation games for couples, like conversation starter decks, which help discover news about each other lightly. The goal is to create new positive memories that replace, layer by layer, the file of past hurts. These actions work like a defibrillator. They give the necessary shock for the relationship's heart to beat in the right rhythm again. The atmosphere of the house changes, the air becomes lighter, and the smile returns to being something natural, not forced. However, for this change to not be just a passing spark, it is necessary to anchor these attitudes in an unshakable foundation. There is an ancient principle, an absolute truth described in an old book that explains exactly why fighting for each other is the only way to guarantee definitive victory. Remember that the ancient wisdom of Ecclesiastes is not there by chance. Two are better than one. This sacred principle is the definitive foundation of mutual support. We were designed to function in pairs, not as rivals, but as strategic allies in the battle of life. When you internalize that the strength of one must supply the weakness of the other, the competitive dynamic dies instantly, and an indestructible partnership is born, founded on the rock, capable of withstanding any storm. Life has its harsh winters, and facing these storms in isolation is the perfect recipe for emotional freezing. The Bible warns us with irrefutable logic. If two lie down together, they will keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? The cure for deep loneliness resides in this intentional proximity, in the human warmth generated by the daily and conscious decision to remain by the side, offering shelter and protection, no matter how cold and scary the world is outside. Keep walking towards each other, step by step with holy stubbornness, day after day. With this persistence, that dense fog of isolation will begin to dissipate, vanishing like vapor in the morning sun. Constant kindness acts like this radiant sun, melting the glaciers of pride and selfishness. Do not stop halfway. The biblical and practical promise is that by approaching deliberately, the feeling of abandonment will evaporate, giving way to a comforting and safe presence. To put this into practice on a spiritual level and armor the union, I suggest you start praying together before sleeping, even if for just a minute. Use accessible apps like YouVersion to follow a simple reading plan for couples. This creates a habit of superior connection. This simple practice protects the marriage against external attacks and weaves a cord of 3 strands: you, your spouse, and God, which, according to scriptures, is not quickly broken. By rescuing this divine and human companionship, you'll realize that the success of the relationship was never about finding the perfect person ready-made, but about becoming the right person for each other. The path to healing is paved, the powerful tools have been delivered, and the treasure map has been drawn. Now, faced with all this transformative panorama we have traversed, only one crucial step remains to seal this change once and for all and ensure you never go back to square one.
My friends, now that you have this compass to guide the relationship, don't leave this knowledge stored in a drawer. Knowing all this about the importance of companionship and baby steps is wonderful, but the magic only really happens when we get our hands dirty. The transformation of your marriage doesn't need to wait for a special date. It can start now with the next smile or that tight hug that says everything. Remember, loneliness has no place where there is mutual support and true affection. How about we make a light and practical agreement? What will be the small act of kindness you will practice today to surprise the other? It can be something very simple. Right here in the comments, I'm going to make his favorite dish, or I'm going to leave a loving note in her bag. By sharing this, you inspire other couples and already start changing the mood at home. I will love reading your ideas down below. You know, often, in a desperate attempt to fill the empty spaces, we chase after material things, thinking that having a perfect financial life will bring the connection back like magic. But look, I need to give you a friendly tip. There is an illusion about stability and money that might be hindering, not helping your relationship. I talked about this with great care in a video I left set aside right here on the screen for you. It is very worth watching to understand how to align the heart and not just the pocket. If you want to keep taking care of your love and receiving these tips always with this nice chat, click the subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. It is an immense joy to have you on this journey with us. Click on the video next to me and let's continue this conversation there right now.